Garlic, something that we grow, something that we use all the time, and I am out of garlic powder. Not enough for the recipe for tonight, so that's what we're going to be doing, grinding up some garlic powder. And with that, I realized I never shared the story of growing garlic and creating garlic powder with you. Chris and I have filmed this over the summer. Months of time have passed in this video, but sit back and enjoy the story, and when we come back, we're gonna have garlic powder.
Garlic, in my opinion, probably one of the best vegetables you can grow sort of in your own home garden, and garlic has a lot to give. We just finished our garlic harvest. This is only a small portion of it, but before we get to the harvest of the most famous part, the cloves and the bulb, there's another garlic harvest that's already taken place.
Well guys, welcome to the garlic patch. As you can see what we've got going on here, these scapes are past the time of harvesting. We're still going to get usable product out of them, but we should have done these at least a week ago. They're now starting to go straight up instead of curly. So today our job is to get these scapes off. But what this was really about is how much garlic we grew last year. And I'm going to show you, we still have boxes of garlic left, and we're about to harvest new garlic. We've got about another month, maybe not even that, to be honest. And then this is going to be drying for the next season. And that means we need to figure out what we're going to do with all this garlic that is still sitting here. And the decision is, let's dehydrate it and make some more garlic powder. So as James and I are busy harvesting these scapes, the one thing we're noticing is those long straight bits, extremely woody. So we are chopping them off and basically just being left with that kind of more tender end. So definitely going to be less scapes for pesto and things like that this year, but I'm going to say it, that's all right.
So with the scape harvest done, it's now end of July, it's hot. Our garlic is to that point that it's got to come out before it deteriorates, and we actually have it all done. So historically, we've always grown two varieties of garlic, music garlic and Siberian garlic. They both have a little bit different qualities, and we like them both for different things. So this is our Siberian garlic. Now, we never grow quite as much of this as we do the music garlic because we really like it. It's very strong flavored, and we find that you may not want to, or we don't use it for every application, whereas we find the music is a little more versatile, but it's got quite the flavor. It's very hardy, it grows very well, and we always get a good harvest of it. Now our music garlic, on the other hand, is a little bit bigger bulbs, and it's very well adapted for our environment because it actually sort of originates from a program not that far from us. So it's a fairly common variety in our area. It does really well, and we really like it. It stores well, it's got good flavor, and it grows amazing. Just because we don't actually know how many we've pulled out, because we weren't counting while we were harvesting, we're bundling them into little bundles of 15 bulbs each to see how much of each variety did we actually get in 2025?
So in total, we had 310 bulbs that we pulled from the garden today. I do think that's less than we planted, so we obviously had some that ended up dudders, but let me get that other. But I'm going to say the majority, 80% of our harvest was like these beauties.
So now that we've got all this garlic out, it's got to sit here and dry before we bundle it up and take it up into the loft as we do every year. However, now that we have all this out, we still have some garlic from our 2024 harvest in the house, and we've got to do something with that, and we're going to do that next.
All right, guys, so it's a few days later, as it usually is for us, and we're getting to this garlic. Now, you can see here, there is a lot of garlic still left from last year, and some of it is not in great shape. We definitely have a lot of shriveled, dried, brown cloves that we're just going to get rid of because, to be honest, moving on, we've got enough from this year already. We're just making this all into dehydrated garlic powder, and that's where we're taking you guys along for the ride. You can see here I got a whole bunch. James already plunged ahead and took the skins off of, I think it's skins, off of our Siberian garlic. We didn't have as much of that left because it's not something that we grow all that much of each year, but we definitely have a lot of our music garlic, and it is going to fill the dehydrator. So I'm not even sure we can get all of this done in one round. We may be doing multiple sets, but what we want to do here is take you through all the steps that we take to make garlic powder. It is very, very simple, and I'll tell you what, there is nothing like homemade garlic powder fresh. I'm not going to give away all of it right now. We're going to get to it as we go through the steps here, but there is a secret to it, that is for sure. So I'm going to work on getting these cloves all exposed out of the bulbs. We have our handy dandy little, I don't know,
Green thing.
green thing James has been using. It's basically a skin stripper. I'm going to show you this here. It works so great once your garlic is dry to take that off. No picking, no nothing. And you just end up where you kind of have to slice off that little bit of root that started to develop at the bottom. But otherwise, super, super easy. Love it. So we're going to get all of this peeled and ready to go. And then we're going to come back and we're going to show you the next steps.
Well, we are almost done getting through this garlic. And Stephanie's got a method here where she can actually do a couple of them with those little silicone rolly bits. Considering they're pretty old from last year, they don't look too bad for the most part.
All right, so from those big boxes that you saw earlier, this is what we ended up with that was usable product. But not all of it's usable. I still need to take off the ends, and some of them, you can see they're growing kind of sprouting at the ends, or they've got a brown tip. So we do need to clean these up, so that's my next step, transferring them to the new bowl. I am going to weigh this because I'm curious as to how much it weighs and how much we get as an end result from the product. But I do think it's not going to be more than my one dehydrator, which is nice. And I managed to tuck away 2 of these little containers, which I'm going to put in the fridge, of ones that were still in really decent shape. So hopefully those will last us for a little while this year's harvest is drying. All right, so it's been about half an hour. We've got our garlic all cleaned up. There was even some more bits in there that when I sliced that garlic, it had some like bug stuff inside or some and I was like, you know what, we don't need this, we have a lot, let's just get it going. So we ended up still with that full bowl. Now I've got the food processor out and we're gonna just dump probably, I don't know, I'm hoping to do it into quarters because I only have 4 trays for the dehydrator. So we're gonna just put it in here and puree that up as small as you can get it. Let it run for a little while and then we're just gonna spread it onto each of these fruit leather trays. Great thing to have. And our Nesco dehydrator will be working probably for about 48 hours to dehydrate this. Now, as a side note, if you are going to be dehydrating garlic, do it outside. We are lucky we have a porch. We're just going to set it out there and close the door because this gets stinky. And as much as we love garlic, it is a very overpowering odor that permeates into everything. So outside is best if you're going to be dehydrating the garlic. So that's our plan. So we're going to get this all done and then we'll bring you back with the next stages after our 48 hours. All right, so our dehydrator is ready to go. All 4 racks filled up and I still have 3.5 pounds of garlic. So we could fill a whole nother dehydrator. So we're going to put this in a container in the fridge, hope that it stays good enough for a couple days, and we're going to get 1 batch done and then we'll get the next batch done. All right, so this has been dehydrating for about 30 hours. I think we may have let it go a little longer than necessary, but just things got in the way and, well, you can't dehydrate it too much, I suppose, in some ways. But now we're just going to get this out of the trays into a bowl and we're going to break it up into its little chunks, but we are not going to grind this at this point. And the reason is this stores a lot better in the bigger chunks. You know what happens when you grind something, whether it's onion powder, garlic powder, celery salt, it ends up clumped together eventually. So we find it stores a lot better, even though it does take up a little bit more space in those jars if we leave it in these chunks. So we're going to get it into jars and then we're going to get on to round 2. So as you just saw there, we had all of our garlic processed into these little chippets or whatever you want to call these, little pieces, little chunks. Not edible right now as a garlic powder, that's for sure. But we talked about weighing it and seeing what we got. Now, I can't remember, I'm going to have to go back and watch it, but I think we started with around 8 pounds of garlic. So the first step we're going to do is weigh these 3-liter jars that we got out of it and find out what that 8 pounds came to as dehydrated garlic. So since our jars are already full, I've got one on here just to be able to zero it out. We're going to measure this in grams. Am I in grams? Yes, I am. So first one, 440 grams. So almost 1 pound, not quite. 402, so we're 842. 337. 49.79. That's a 1,179. Someone's going to correct my math. I just know it. So what we've got there is what, 2.5 pounds? I'm going to have to actually use my calculator to figure that part out. So now, through the magic of television and my use of a calculator, we have 2.6 pounds of garlic. But you're probably wondering why there was 2 other things of garlic on the table. Well, those are 2023's garlic. We haven't even finished that. And we've already got 2024 here. So we're going to be grinding the old stuff, not the new stuff, because remember, it is super important to rotate your stock. As mentioned, coffee grinder. We use a coffee grinder for so much stuff, it's not even funny. We've actually burnt out 2 of them already, and we've got another one. So we'll see how long this one lasts. But in it goes. I fill it to the max line. Cap goes on. Not that lid. There we are. And guess what? I don't have a plug on my island. I really wish when we built the island, I'd put a plug on the island. So now I have to take it over and plug it in and grind it up. So about 15 seconds pulsing that in the grinder, and look, it's beautiful. I really wish you guys could smell it. There is nothing like fresh garlic powder. If you had asked me years ago, I would have said, meh, it's not worth the effort. It is so worth the effort. It is homegrown, home ground, fresh right when you use it. Wonderful. So we're going to put it into our little container. Perfect grind. Look at that. See, max line fills a 1/4 cup wonderfully. I don't know if that is actually 1/4 cup. Maybe it's 1/2 cup. Anyways, it fills it perfect, whatever it is. And that's it. That's how easy it is to make garlic powder. So I really hope you guys give it a try. I know somebody back when asked me about how to make the garlic powder and how we do it. Now we've shown you. So I really hope you take it up yourself.